Hello, my name is Sally Pinto, and I'm the Program Director for the Yonkers Newark Neighborhood Naturally Occurring Retirement Community. We serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We are under the auspices of WJCS and the Yonkers Office for the Aging. We also have a resource specialist and a nurse on staff. We conduct virtual programming in partnership with the Yonkers Public Library on a daily basis. Enjoy the program.
Everyone, happy to be here. We're going to go ahead and get right started into our warm-up, starting with our chin tuck. So whether you're seated or standing, just nice and long through that spine. Okay, we're just going to push our chin back for 10, 9, very small movement, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. All right. Nice and upright. We're going to do our head turns now, 5 per side, always coming back to the center in between our repetitions. Ready? And begin. We're going to turn, center, turn, center, turn, 3, turn, 4, turn, 5, turn, 6, turn, 7, turn, 8, turn, 9, and turn, 10. Good. Moving on to 10 4-count chain breakers. Okay, so remember on our 4 count, 3 reps, we're pulling the chain apart, and then on the 4th rep, we're opening wide. Okay, so the first 3 reps, I want you to think of squeezing your shoulder blades together. And then on 4, when we open wide, I want you to think of a nice stretch through the front of the chest. Okay, 10 repetitions, seated or standing, ready, and begin. 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 1, 2, 3, 8, 1, 2, 3, 9, and 1, 2, 3, and 10. Good. All right, we're just going to take a moment to stretch out, only 5 to 10 seconds. We're not going to hold real long. Just stretching out the neck and the trap. It's morning. We're all waking up here. Good. And then release that side, and then go ahead and do the same thing other side. Just quick stretches here. Dynamic. We can hold them for less than 30 seconds here. Good. And release. Okay, so I'm going to go right into our first 5-minute conditioning circuit or a superset first, and that's going to double as warming up the body, elevating the internal temperature here. From a seated position, you are going to be doing our butt kicks, our pullbacks with our row, okay? All right, so you're here if you're seated on the edge of your seat, standing. All right, you're just shifting that weight from side to side. And think of that rowboat motion with the arms, okay? So that's our first move we're going to do for 40 seconds. We've got 10 seconds to recover. And then our second move is going to be alternating knee raise and pull down. Whoops. And then from a seated position, right here, okay? All right, so round 1, I'm going to do seated. The second 2 rounds, I'm going to do standing. You get to pick which one feels best for you, okay? That's a mix. All right, 40 seconds is going on the clock. We're starting with that butt kicker and that row, okay? In 3, 2, and 1, here we go. You go at a pace that's good for you. Remember the importance of quality movement over quantity, okay? We don't want to go so fast that we lose the integrity of the movement. We want to keep those repetitions nice and clean. All right, squeezing those shoulder blades together as you pull back into that row. Feeling your hamstrings warm up. as we pull that leg back. Good. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite movement. We're going to pull down, okay, and we're going to raise the knees, alternating, okay? 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Remember, 40 seconds feels too long and you just need to shake it out for a second, take a little rest. That's fine, okay? Or if you have to stop a little early and give yourself a little additional recovery time, this is your workout. As long as you feel like you're working hard, getting that blood flowing, moving those joints, then we're in good shape. 10 more seconds here. There's 5, 2, and 1. Good. Okay. Going on to round 2. Back to those butt kickers with that row, that pull back. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. You can remain seated if that works better for you. So pulling the leg back like this, the heel towards the glute, that works the back of our thigh, our hamstring muscle. And pulling our arms back, pulling our elbows back like this, works our back muscles. I think my daughter was using my phone. She changed my setting. It's going on. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Back to our pull backs. Usually I have it so my screen, or pull downs, I should say, my screen stays on, stays lit for a while so I can see when our time is up. Seems to be going off every 20 seconds today. Good. We're halfway through this one. And then we have one more round. 15 more seconds. Trying to get that internal temperature of the body elevated here. Moving all those joints. Whew. And good. Recover. We have one more set going back to those pullbacks with the kickback in 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. This time doing these, seated or standing. Feel those shoulder blades come together in the back. Good for posture. Feeling my hamstrings work here too. Good. We have 15 more seconds here. And then we're going to go to those pull downs with the knee raise for the last time. And good, okay, 10 seconds to recover. Almost done this first block. Going back to our pull downs with the knee, alternating knee raise. And begin. Still working those back muscles as we pull those elbows down in towards those knees, okay? Also working our hip flexors and quadriceps in the legs. And the shoulders by lifting our arms up overhead. 15 more seconds, then we're going to recover. Almost there. And time. Okay, relax here. I'm going to explain our first 9-minute strength section. Okay. We are going to do, you can get a drink here if you need it. For this next circuit, if you have an optional pair of weights, you can use them for these movements. You don't need them now, okay? We're going to be doing our sit to stand squat, okay? Our sit squat. So tap it down and drive it up. You can hold weights on either side of your hands if you choose, okay? Your alternative, if you're seated here, you can give me alternating leg extensions, okay? That's your seated alternative for our sit to stand squat. After 45 seconds of that, we'll have 15 seconds to get ready for curl press. Okay, you can do that seated or standing. The last one is going to be a bent over row. Okay, so from the seated position, you're here. Okay, I'm pulling those elbows back, keeping them close to the rib cage. From a standing position, you're bent over and pulling back. Okay, with or without weights. Okay, so 3 rounds of that, 45 seconds of work, 15 seconds of transition time. Let's get ready. First round, I'm going to do everything seated. Second 2 rounds standing. Okay, ready for our sit squat to stand. All right, or our alternating leg extensions. In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Okay, so I'm doing the seated version right now, and if you're doing the standing version, you're going to go ahead and tap those glutes onto your seat and then drive up through the heels of your feet as you stand up to standing. Dumbbells at your sides if you prefer. Good. After this, we're going to our upper body movement of curl to press. We have 15 more seconds here. And time. Okay, let's get ready for our curl and press. And in 3, 2, and 1, we are back on the clock. Curl and press, seated or standing. You do not need to have weights in your hands to do this, okay? I just want you to take, if you're not using the, whether you're using the weights or not, just go through your full range of motion, okay? So pulling up, pressing up, and then returning back down. We're working the bicep muscles and the shoulder muscles. We've got 10 more seconds here. And then we're going to go to our bent over rows, which you can do seated or standing. Excellent. Okay, recover. Okay, so whether you have your weights in your hands or not, you're going to bend, hinge forward. Okay, seated or standing. Keep those elbows close to the rib cage as you pull them back and up. Here we go. This is working our back muscles. So I really think it's actually your back muscles that are the prime mover that are initiating this movement. The arms are secondary to your back muscles working here. May not seem like it because you see the arms moving, but that is the truth here. The back muscles stabilize and help you to pull. And time. Okay, that is round 1. We're going through 2 more rounds. I'm going to go to standing variation now. So you're either doing your leg extension if you're staying seated, or you're going to join me or continue with your sit to stand squat here. 2, 1, begin. Drive up and tap down. So I should be able to wiggle my toes in my shoes because as I stand up, I'm really pressing through my heels so that my glutes really engage as I'm raising up to the top. If my tempo is too fast, please go at a pace that's good for you. Again, it's always about the quality of the repetition over trying to knock out a whole bunch of them in a time period, okay? We're going to upper body curl to press next, which can be done seated or standing. Good, relax here. We've got 15 seconds. Okay. 10 seconds to start. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's curl it and press it. Keeping that core tight. Good. We're going to our bend over row next, whether you do it seated or standing. And on. Okay, ready for your bend over row? 10 seconds to start. We're ready. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Good. So we're trying to keep that spine nice and neutral. We're not rounding through our back at all. Okay, we're pushing our hips back if you're standing. Elbows close to the rib cage. Pull the elbows back. We're past halfway for this one. I'm going to do one more round to get through before we break. That's 10 seconds. 2, and 1. Okay. For one more round, okay, you're either doing your alternating leg extensions if you're doing the seated variation, or you're joining me for the sit to stand squat with an optional weight. Okay? In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Stay present. Get that blood flow, all the muscles, working them. 10 more seconds here. We're done with these. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, good. Curl the press is next. Okay, seated or standing. Starting in 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Curl, press, bring it back. This exercise, we have our bend over row, seated or standing, and then we're going to breathe. Okay. Final exercise for this block. Bend over row, seated or standing, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. My back muscles, so pull those elbows back up towards the ceiling. Good. Just past halfway. Break after this. Okay. Recover. All right. Put your weights down if you're using them. We're going to get a drink if you need it and go back to a 40 seconds of work, 10 seconds. seated first, and then I'll show you standing. We're gonna do our step back lunge with a bicep curl. So for the seated variation, that's going to look kind of like our butt kickers here, and you're gonna add a bicep curl. Hit, tap, tap. Okay, so that is your seated variation. All right, and then you're going to pair that with either an overhead tricep extension, okay? And if it's too much to get over your head, you can take it to a kickback this way, okay? All right, it will work the underside of the arm. So you're gonna pick on that one. All right, that's the seated variations. If you're standing, you're gonna do a step back lunge with the bicep curl. So it's gonna be step, step, okay? Step, step, okay? So you're doing a step back lunge and a curl, all right? And if it's too much, if you want to do the standing variation, but it's too much to do the bicep curl with it, hold on to the back of your chair. This is your in-between, and give me step back lunges, holding on to a stable surface, okay? And then the triceps going to look the same, you know, whether you're seated or standing, whichever one you want to do. I'm going to stick with the overhead one, okay? But if that is too much for your body, go to the tricep kickbacks. Okay, so first round I'm going to do seated. Okay, that's our step back lunge with our bicep curl, okay? So 40 seconds is going on the clock here. All right, in 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. So seated. Move at a pace that's comfortable for you, okay? So you do not have to go at my rhythm. The quality and integrity of the rep is the most important part. Good. We have 10 more seconds here. And time. Okay, get ready for your overhead tricep extensions, or you could take this into a tricep kickback if overhead is not comfortable, with or without weights. Trying to keep those elbows closer to the body. Okay, just work the back of the arm there. That's it. Good. So it's that bending and straightening of the elbow that activates, that lengthens and shortens the tricep muscle. Good, we have 15 more seconds here. And then we're going back to our step back lunge with the bicep curl. And you can remain seated if you prefer that, but I will be moving to a standing position for round 2 and 3, as always. Okay, that's round 1. Back to our step back lunge with the optional bicep curl. Okay, 2, 1, here we go. Good, we're halfway. Okay, back to those overhead tricep extensions or a tricep kickback, okay? Whichever feels better. And begin. In front of the arm with the bicep curls, the back of the arm with the tricep extensions. Let's see, get some leg work in there. Good. 10 more seconds here, and then we go into our final round. All right, excellent. Final round, step back lunges. with the bicep curl or the step backs, okay, if you're seated. Here we go. Begin. Remember, if you need to not do the bicep curl and hold onto the back of the chair, if you're a little past the seated variation, but not quite at this standing variation with the dumbbells, hold on to the back of your chair to help you with this movement. As time we're doing these, we have 10 more seconds here. And time, all done with those. Last round of tricep kickbacks or overhead tricep extensions. And begin. We break after this. Ten more seconds, then we break. And time, okay. You can put your weights down if you're using them. Go ahead and get a drink. Moving on to our next. Our next 45, 15, 9-minute circuit. We're going to be doing our side step sumo squat. I'll show them all seated first, and then I'm going to show them all standing, okay? So from a seated position, side step, and then leg extension, okay? That way you'll get the sides of your glutes, and you'll get the front of your legs here, okay? So if you're seated, side step, leg, that's one rep. Side, leg, okay? Your next one is an RDL, okay? So just our hinge. So we're just from a seated position. I'm really trying to think of that marionette string, keeping me nice and long through my spine. I don't want to like bend over like this, all right, and tuck my chin. I want to be kind of looking ahead somewhere, and I want to just think of my hips, just like a clam, or like a suitcase opening and closing through your hips, right? Everything's nice and straight, and you're just hinging up and down, up, okay? And then your last one, optional weights, upright row, okay? So working the top of the shoulders. So everything from a standing position is sumo squat, okay? And then RDL, and then upright row, okay? All right, first round I'm going to be doing seated. All right, so let's get ready. 45 seconds is going on the clock. We're starting with our sumo squat, okay? And 3, 2, and 1. Let's begin. So I'm doing the seated variation. I'm doing lateral taps to alternating leg raise. All right, we got that hip joint moving. The muscles that are contributing to moving that hip joint are the outsides of the glutes, the inner and outer thighs, okay? And then we've also got the knee joint moving, which is your quadriceps and hamstrings, okay? Still getting that good blood flow to the muscles in the legs and that mobility of movement through the joints. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, our hinge is next. Okay, so remember, I want you to think of sitting up nice and tall at the edge of your seat, or if you're standing, you're going to be nice and tall, no rounding through the upper back or spine, okay? And begin. We're just going to hinge and use your glutes to come back up to straight. Even if you're seated, I want you to think of squeezing your glutes as you elevate your body back up to standing. or upright. Okay, so whether you're seated or standing, you're trying to get those glutes involved. We've got 10 more seconds here, and then we're moving on to upright rows. 2 and 1. Okay, so with or without weights, all right, we're just kind of pulling our elbows and knuckles up, working the front of the shoulder and a little bit of the back too. 2 and 1. Here we go. Good. Almost there. That time. Okay. All right, going back to the beginning, we've either got our lateral taps, the alt leg raises, or our side step sumo squats. In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Think of picking your laundry baskets up off the floor, any boxes you're moving. Think about how these movements apply, these functional exercises apply to everyday living. Okay, moving right along. We have our RDL. Okay, so you can do this from a hinge. You can do this from a seated position or standing. Just remember, we're trying to keep that spine elongated and we're not rounding through the shoulders. Here we go. And if you're standing, I want you to think of almost like your knuckles grazing to mid shin. Okay, you don't need to go past the middle of your shin. Okay, and they're actually almost like my knuckles are kind of touching my shins here. And I'm squeezing my glutes to lift me back up. Keeping the shoulders back. All right, excellent. Upright rows are next, okay? With or without weights. If this gets to feel like a little too much for your shoulders, you could always try to alternate as well, okay? Just an in-between there, all right? 2, 1, begin. We have one more round to go through after this. And then we go to our final conditioning portion, our final 40-10. And then we have our final 45-15 after that, almost done. On my shoulders, all right. Okay, shake it out. We've got one more round. So back to those sumo squats for the alternating lateral tap to lateral or to leg raise for the seated variation in 3, 2, and 1. By taking these side steps We're working that glute med. Remember, this helps stabilize us. It helps with balance. It helps keep the hip and knee joint healthy. All right. The stronger that muscle is. Okay. Recover. We have our RDL, or our seated hinge, next. Okay. Remember to keep that spine nice and long. Shoulders roll back and down. All right. And you're squeezing the glutes to bring ourselves back up. Begin. Good. Staying nice and long through the spine, keeping the shoulders pulled back in good posture. And that your glutes are making you upright again. That squeezing of the glutes is pulling you upright. Excellent. All done with those. Last round of upright rows here, seated or standing. Remember, you can always start a little late or stop a little early if you need to, or you can try alternating. Okay, so you got a lot of options here. Here we go. Begin. We're going to break after this one. Good. Halfway. Almost there. And time. Okay. Recover, get a drink. All right, we're moving on to, we have one more 40-10 and one more 45-15. Okay, one more 5-minute block, one more 9-minute block. Our 40-10, we're going to do from the seated position. You're on the edge of your chair, cross, jabs, cross, jabs. So you feel that nice rotation through the waist, okay? Good. And then we are doing, pairing that with seal jacks. Oh, wait. Seal jacks right here, this way, okay? That's it. Okay, and for standing, cross, 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 and seal jack, seal jack, seal jack, okay? All right, so 5 minutes of work here. First round, I'm gonna do seated, starting with those cross punches. And I'm not gonna lie, I like these ones, the cross punches. I like them seated better than I like standing. This one feels really good for that rotation. Okay, so here we go in 3, 2, 1. Let's cross punches. You're seated with me. Feel that nice stretch through the torso. Feels great in the morning too. Good, we just passed halfway. Almost there. 2. And time. Okay, going to seal jacks, all right? In 3, 2, and 1. So anytime we pull the knuckles back behind us, we're getting a nice stretch through the front of our chest and shoulder, as well as squeezing those shoulder blades together, helping with our posture, okay? And tightening up all those muscles in the upper back to help us stand up straight. feeling my arms. Okay, there's round one. I'm gonna move to standing now, but you can remain seated if you want. We're going to cross jabs, okay? 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Feel that rotation through the body. Halfway through this one. Ten more seconds. And time. Okay, back to the seal jacks. Okay, seated or standing. And 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead. So if you're advanced, you might want to throw a couple regular jacks in. You might do a tap, jack, jack, something like that, right? However you want to, synchronize that up, you can do. Might be 4 taps and one jack. Okay, so you can really, you've got options here. Good. We have 15 more seconds here, and then one more round throw. I'm really feeling the back of my shoulders on these. I love that. Upper back, shoulder blades, all that. Okay, shake it out. All right. And one more round through. Cross punches. Okay. Cross body punches. And begin. I like to give a strong exhale as I'm punching. Good, we're halfway. Ten more seconds. In time, okay. Last round of our seal jacks. In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. We break after this, and we go into our final 9-minute strength circuit, and then we're done. Fifteen more seconds here. And time. Okay. Get a drink if you need it. So remember how we've been doing those moves that we did in our earlier strength circuits and then adding the combination moves. But I didn't forget about the combination moves. I just put all 3 of them together for this final block. I thought it would be fun. So we are going to go to our sit squat, curl to press, okay? So your seated variation would be leg extension, curl, and press. Okay, you're going to repeat that for the 45 seconds. Your standing option is stand up, curl, press, bring it back, tap it down. Okay, and you're going to repeat that variation. After that, we are doing our Rdl row. So from a seated position, you're going to hinge it down, row, and then come back up. Okay, standing is hinge, row, stand back up, okay? And then your last one is our sumo squat to upright row. So the seated one is your tap, leg, row, okay, upright row, okay? And then your standing variation is sumo squat, upright row, okay? All right, so I'm gonna do everything seated the first time, the second 2 rounds, I am gonna be standing, okay? So it's our final set, we're done after this. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our sit squat to curl to press. And for the seated variation, it's leg extension curl to press. In 3, 2, and 1, let's go. Okay, so seated variation is what I'm doing here. Excellent. Past halfway. 15 more seconds here. Okay, next one is our RDL to row. Okay, seated or standing. I'm going to be seated here. I'm at the edge of my chair so that I have room to hinge down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so here we go. Neutral spine. Keep the shoulder blades back. Combination movement. So we hinge, row, and then complete the hinge. Just past halfway. Move at a pace that's comfortable for you. Don't get yourself dizzy going too fast up and down. All right, time on that one. And now we have our sumo squat or alternating sumo squat to upright row. Okay, so if you're seated with me, we're going to alternate lateral taps to lateral leg raise and then upright row. 2, 1, here we go. And if you're standing, you do a sumo squat on each side, and then you upright row. Lateral tap, leg extension, upright row. It's good for our cognitive health too here, putting these sequences together and repeating them. Good for the brain. Good, we're almost through this one. 10 more seconds. Last 5, 2, and 1. Okay, 2 more rounds, just like that. I am going to move to standing. We're going back to our sit, squat, curl to press, or our alternating leg extension curl to press. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Stand it up, curl, press, bring it back, tap down, drive up, curl, press, bring it back, tap down. Almost there. Okay, time. We're going into our RDL row. Okay, or your hinge and your row from that seated position. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. We're going to lower it down, row. Use the glutes to bring yourself up. Again. Halfway. Okay, now we have our sumo squat to upright row. If you're seated, lateral tap, leg extension, upright row. That's a mouthful right there. Ready? Okay, here we go. Begin. Sumo squat, row. Halfway. And we have one more round. And time, okay, 15 seconds. Back to our final round, okay? So either alt leg extension to curl press or sit squat to curl to press. 2 and 1. So we're taking all the exercises that we did in our previous strength sets, and we're doing all of them in this final 9-minute block. So every joint is moving on every single one of these exercises. We're past halfway. Okay, we've got our Rdl row next, our Hinge Row. Okay, final time here in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Neutral spine, okay? Good posture, the shoulders are rolled back and down as you bend forward. And as you bend forward, especially when you're standing, I want you to think of your hips pushing back as you bend forward. Time, okay, final exercise, almost done. Sumo squat to upright row, or lateral tap, leg extension, upright row. Okay, here we go, 3, 2, 1, let's finish it off. Sumo squat, upright row. Good. Past halfway. And time. Okay, guys. Great work. Real quick, what we'll do is stretch for the upper back here. Okay, so seated or standing, you're going to take that arm and you're going to cross it over the front of the body and visualize the stretch. Think of the back of your shoulder blade, from the middle of your spine over, like kind of stretching and releasing. When you kind of put your mind to it, you get a little more out of it. Okay, and just breathe. And then the same thing the other side. Thinking, visualizing that stretch, right? Thinking of the muscle fibers pulling and stretching here. All right, and then we're going to take our hands to the small of our back. We're going to pull our shoulder blades together and lift our heart towards the ceiling. Put your head wherever it's comfortable. You can look up, you can look straight, okay? You're really just trying to feel that stretch through the front of the shoulders and chest, okay? Oftentimes we're tight here. Good, and then we're gonna do our lateral stretch here, okay, for the hip flexor and groin. So from your seated position, you're on the edge of your chair, you're lengthening one leg out. You can be doing this from a standing, holding onto the back of your chair right here as well. Okay, or maybe you don't even need a chair, right? And then go ahead and get the other side, seated or standing. Extend that leg long. Feel that stretch through the inner thigh and the groin here. And relax. And then the last one, take a seat for this one. We're just going to flex and point the heel for the toe for 5. And then roll the ankle 5 each direction. Good. And then do the same thing on the other side. Flex and point for 5. And then roll the ankle 5 in one direction. And then 5 in the other. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.